Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Car Wash Magazine Live. I am your host, Matt DeWolf, Editor-in-Chief of Car Wash Magazine. Hey, cheers everybody, and happy Thursday morning or afternoon, wherever you may be. So, we've got a fantastic program for you today. Like I always say, they are all fantastic, because what else could they be? We're going to be talking about one of the things that is vexing everyone right now. We're talking hiring, but we're going to take a little different spin on it, all right? So we're going to talk about it from a marketing perspective and find some ways that you can kind of maybe start to work towards some progress in this vein to help cure what ails us all. So, you know, short staffing right now sucks. It's really hard to hire people. We all know that there's lots of reasons for that, but maybe worse than that is being wrong staffed. So that's another problem we might talk a little bit about today, about not being desperate and not going out there and just taking anybody that you can get. But we're going to dive into all of that from a marketing perspective with two panelists from a couple of great car wash organizations here in the United States. We've got Beth Martin is going to be joining us from Express Wash Concepts, and Wade Keith is going to join us from Breeze Through here in just a moment. Let me just bring them in. I like to make sure that I don't have them on mute, because I often do, because, because they're buzzing in my ear this whole time. That's what you guys don't know is they're just chatting me up back here. All right, so here are my friends. Hey, friends. Hey, Beth. Hey, Wade.
Hello.
Wade, are you rocking out or what, man?
What's that?
Are you rocking out or what? Yeah, that's what's up.
Always.
All right. So here's what we're going to do today, guys. You guys, thank you for agreeing to do this. This is a tough topic to get into, but we're going to try it. Beth, I think you said your middle name was Danger, so let's do it.
Know it.
Danger.
All right, so we're going to start with a super loaded and super unfair thumbs up, thumbs down. This is like rapid fire. Do it really fast. I just want you both to give me either double thumbs up or double thumbs down. You got to put them right there so we can see them. Ready? Here we go. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You have all the employees you need right now. Let's see it. Thumbs up? What, Beth? You're finding new employees is easy. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Down, lots of down. And you're being pushed to try new things in your talent acquisition and retention approach. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Hey, all right. So I cheated big time because I knew those answers. Except, Beth, I don't know how you have all the employees you need. Maybe you have some of the wrong ones.
Listen, I just wanted to start this off kind of exciting, right?
Yeah.
Because do we have all the employees we need to open up the doors at this particular moment? The answer is yes. Do we have the number that we want? The answer is no. And so it's a shift in perspective that I think we all need to think about.
That's funny. That's really I really like that, because I play on an old man baseball team, and sometimes it's hard to get 9 people to the field. And you always say, hey, we got the right 9. So that's all that matters. You got the right people on that bus. That's funny. Okay, so that was our quick round of thumbs up, thumbs down. No controversy in that little segment, but I want to start out with one thing that you all are doing from a talent acquisition perspective that's been working. So we're going to start there. We're going to start, for me, that's Wade. You're on the far end. Wade, what's one thing that you all have been doing at Breeze Through that's really been working for you?
The one thing, there's a lot of different things, but the one thing, the one driving factor is we've got the right person in the right seat. We hired Kelsey Salisbury a couple months ago, and she's come on as the hiring and onboarding coordinator, and she's working her ass off, guys. She's working very, very hard to make sure that when people apply, we contact them, we get them in for an interview. And she's been very adaptable, especially during these times. You have kind of your own onboarding process, but when times are weird like they are, you got to be adaptable, and you got to be able to create, to think ahead and stay in front of the curve instead of playing catch up from behind the curve. And so she's been paying a lot of attention to, what works, what doesn't work. And we've been making a lot of adjustments in that area to make sure that we're very responsive to people when they apply, and we get them in here and we interview them. And if they're the right fit, we hire them pretty quickly. And I'd say really hats off to her for working hard and really owning that position. I think if you have the wrong person in that seat right now, you're really going to struggle. But that is the one driving factor that's helped us out. And we had 11 people at orientation on Sunday, so what she's doing is working.
That's nice. I mean, I'm reminded about the importance of the right people, right? Fortunately for you all, it was relatively easy to find that particular person for lots of reasons. But Beth, what's one thing that you all are doing across kind of your 3 brands there? 3 brands, 4 brands, 5 brands, 12 brands?
I think we're at 5 today. I've lost track. I don't know. Listen, we're doing a lot of different things right now. I know that Wade kind of mentioned that too, is that there's not one particular thing that's working above and beyond more so than the other. But I did want to kind of share just a little bit. We've gone old school just a little bit with these little 4x6 handouts that we're giving out at the wash. Now, when I say we're giving them out at the wash, we're not just giving it to every customer who pulls up to our kiosk, because that's not strategic. So we just make sure that as we get to know our customers, we're talking with them in the back lot. We establish those relationships. We're going to take a couple minutes to really talk about the great benefits of working with us and give them one of these at that point, so they can think about who they may refer to us that way. Another thing that's been really, really strong as far as getting response in has been our text to apply program. So you have to get into the hands of these applicants the easiest way for them to apply. And we found, email may be great, on-site signage may be great, but really most of our candidates are coming through just from texting to get the link to apply.
That's fascinating. I mean, that's like I feel like that's wrong, and we shouldn't be doing that, and there's got to be a better way, but there's definitely something to be said for knowing your audience, right? That's a marketing strategy. Know that audience and get to them where they are, and if our audience is on their mobile device and they're texting, we should be hitting them there to get them there. Hey, Wade, are you guys doing anything on that front? Are you guys using text as a channel?
No, we're not using text right now. No, it's something we're considering for next year. Mainly our channels are Indeed, some stuff on Facebook, some radio advertising. One thing I've even considered was even advertising on a Spanish-speaking radio station. But one problem with that is, the trainer that just left was the person that could train in Spanish. We don't have that person right now, so that's become a little bit of a challenge. But not any texting right now. No.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's one thing that's working. And folks watching at home, if you guys have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat, and we'll get to those for you, and we'll bump those up into this program. But for now, I want to move on to one thing that you thought was totally going to work, and it didn't. So we're going to go in reverse order here. Beth, let's have you go first here. One thing that you totally thought was going to be awesome, and it just didn't work.
I'm thinking we're trying so many different things right now. There are pros and cons to everything. I think Facebook is something that we're seeing that we put a lot of manpower behind designing the perfect copy with the perfect photos and graphics. We're doing these daily campaigns with Facebook. I mean, we've got a $5 a day budget, for example, and we're getting a lot of impressions. But if you look at the data even further, you'll see that maybe out of 2,000 people who have looked at that ad, only 17 are clicking onto your landing page. So when you look at that overall, I have to think that even though we might think that, a digital campaign such as Facebook would be a great thing, it's not giving you the applicants that you would expect investing in that type of platform.
That's interesting because, for a lot of us, we think about Facebook as sort of a catch-all, right? Like, just do some Facebook ads. That'll work. That'll get you there. But that's not the case. Okay, all right. Wade, how about you? What's one thing that you all thought was totally going to work, and it's not so much the case?
Well, first of all, I just want to echo what Beth said. Facebook
thumbs down.
Does not work, right? Yeah, and I love how you put a spin on it too, Matt. It's like a catch-all. When people think advertising, they think Facebook is the only way to advertise anything these days, right? There's a lot of different channels. So don't get stuck in that Facebook mindset that everything you need to do is on Facebook, because as Beth said, Facebook doesn't work, and it hasn't worked for us. But you asked for one thing that you thought would work and totally isn't working. And I think sticking to kind of regular onboarding processes during this weird time that we're in right now hasn't worked. We've had to be very adaptable to kind of work around that. And when it comes to filtering people out before they even walk in the door, we do phone calls and that kind of stuff to just make sure they might be a right fit before we even get them in for an interview. Well, we did away with that. Just right now, especially. We might go back to that later on, but people are that want to work are getting hired up pretty quickly. And so if you have an extensive process in that realm, then by the time you get through kind of the initial screening, well, that employee that you wanted to bring in for an interview might already have a job now. So I don't know if it's something that it worked before, but it's not necessarily working right now in this environment. So
the challenge is like, it's back to this concept of like, you don't want to be wrong staffed. So you're having to accelerate your process a little bit. And like, you want to make sure you still are getting the right people. But if you got to go fast, so you got to move so fast, and you got to be able to identify them right away and make sure that they're the right fit really before they ever get to you. And that's part of what we're going to get into in just a minute, which is this whole journey concept. It might surprise everybody at home to think that I might want to talk about journeys and customer journeys and employee journeys and all those things. But we're going to get into that in just a minute. I want to come back to something. So Wade, you're talking a lot about how you've sped up the process a little bit to make sure that you are capturing those people who are coming in the door and who you're getting to the interview process. I want to talk about messaging a little bit, because I think one of the hardest things right now is when you go down the street and you look over and you see a fast food chain offering $1,000 sign-on bonus. You look over the other way, you see another retail outlet offering a big bonus. So that's obviously attractive. Money talks, but talk to me a little bit about what kind of marketing messages you all are using in this talent acquisition strategy. And we'll go reverse it up again. Wade, we'll start with you and we'll end with Beth.
Well, you said, I mean, we're leading with pay just like everybody else. I know you said in our pay, our starting pay is pretty good. And even during the shutdowns and that kind of stuff, our pay was way higher than a lot of places around here. So, I mean, that's the main thing, is leading with pay. Some of the messaging that we used to put out there and we don't anymore. We talked about benefits. We talked about 401k, right? A lot of the people that come and work for us, we hire all ages, but a lot of the people that apply for us and come work for us are fit in the younger demographic. So not a lot of them don't even know what a 401k is. They think it's a video game. And, if you put that on a sign and they think they're going to come in here and play video games all day long, well, that's not realistic. That's not the job at all. So we've kind of done away with that. Right now we're in the process of rethinking kind of what our messaging is to apply, or to really kind of to attract some of this younger demographic. What do they care about? A fun atmosphere, teamwork. Right. What are those things that really that they really care about? And so that's kind of some messaging that we're going to start introducing here pretty soon, because of the benefits 401k, we got rid of it. They're not comprehending that the way that, folks further on in their career would. So that's kind of some of the messaging we're doing right now. We have a manager accreditation program that we're going to be introducing in a couple months, where members of Priesthood can get a manager accreditation certificate, which is the equivalence of an associate's degree. But we're going to start advertising that pretty heavily a little bit further down the line when it comes to life. We also have employee housing. So we now have 10 apartments behind our headquarters here. The idea behind that is to provide an affordable option for employees if they need some housing. So that's some other stuff we're going to be introducing as well. The employee housing is already out there. So these are some of the messages that we're putting out there, but I think simplifying, figure out, especially banners work well for us. A lot of people are seeing the banners and they're applying with this. And if you got to apply the same concepts you do when you think about outdoor media, people are driving by it really fast. What are just a few things that you can put on there that they can digest? And so us putting benefits of 401k, that, what are some other things that we can put in that hierarchy where people digest that information pretty quickly? And the direction we're going is more of, fun atmosphere, teamwork, that kind of stuff, things that, maybe the younger generation likes. So,
yeah, well, I think it's all like the key in what you were just talking about there is speaking to your unique value proposition, right? So what is it? What's the one thing that you do that makes you really unique, that's different from the places that's going to throw a sign-on bonus at you, right? Now, sign-on bonuses are great. That can be a great tactic and a great way to get people in the door. But if they're not coming for the right reasons, that's not going to do you any good. Beth, let's hear from you. What kind of messages are you leveraging in this kind of employee acquisition side?
I think one of the best exercises we had to do was revamp that 150 character limit for our text program, right? And I encourage all of you, when we get off of here today, take 10 minutes to think about it. How would you describe your position that you're hiring for, your company, in 150 characters or less? Those aren't words, by the way, those are characters. So our theme has always been, really for the past several years, come grow with us. We're a rapidly growing company. I don't necessarily want to bring in somebody who's just going to work with us for the summer and leave, right? I want them, and I know that it's optimistic and it may be unrealistic, but we want to create lifetime positions for lifetime employees. That will always be our goal. Do we do that 100% of the time? Absolutely not, but that is the goal. And so I think that a come grow with us message is extremely important if that's what you're wanting to do. And then what else do you offer beyond, great wages? Are you offering commissions? What about your benefits? You still need to touch on them, even if the 401k and those types of things aren't necessary, to a particular demographic you may be bringing in. It's important for them to understand. And we've done workshops with that where we've brought team members in to kind of do financial planning and understand, or let them understand through education the process behind that. And then, of course, free car washes, right? That's another great benefit. So we're bringing you on board with great wages, opportunity for commissions, opportunity for growth, and free car washes. Who could say no to that?
well, hey Beth, quick question for you. I got a question for you, Beth, real quick. Did you say that y'all have a class or a program where you bring in your employees and you teach them how to manage their finances?
We do. And I would highly encourage anybody to add that to their training programs, because most of these, especially younger, I call them younger kids, right? But the kids that are in their 20s and even some in their early 30s, they have no financial planning background whatsoever. They don't understand how if you start contributing to a 401k when you're in your early 20s, just how much that can grow and how quickly that grows. So that's something I think that we should be doing as an industry, as part of a recruiting and retention benefit.
I love that. I mean, that's a great life skill that I feel like everybody across the planet needs to understand, right? How to make sure you're maximizing on that front. I really like this concept of driving home the things that are important to you as a company and sticking with those, right? Because I think one of the things that's really easy to do when you're getting stressed and burned out and your service levels are suffering and you're really just kind of having a hard time is to just come across as desperate. And it's like, please come work for me. Please, I need people. The now hiring stuff, you got to be really careful about how you position that, what that looks like on your property, where it's showing up, because people can see through that and they feel that, and that desperation comes through. And you don't want people who are looking for jobs at places where the people are desperate, because those desperate people for desperate jobs, and we don't want that. We want the right people on the right bus, going the right direction. So watch yourselves on that. I know it can be really heartbreaking sometimes when you have 10 people apply and one person shows up. But stay the course, friends. Stay the course. Go walk away, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay eventually. It will be okay, I promise. Okay, so let's shift gears just slightly here. I want to know how much energy you all are putting into managing presences. So like, I'm thinking primarily around any kind of social presence or your Indeed presence in terms of for that prospective employee. And we'll start with let's start with Beth.
Okay. Well, I think that marketing should definitely be responsible for writing the content, right? And making sure that we've got professional photos that really showcase kind of the day-to-day aspects of the job. And then just to make sure that your messaging is consistent across all of those channels. Look, I think that, updating Indeed content, you have to set a schedule to do that, even if it's quarterly. Just go in and put the reminder in right now, because it's certainly something that I think is easy to fall, off of kind of the radar and the to-do list. And so just definitely make sure that your content's fresh, that it's really capturing what you're looking for. And as you mentioned, Matt, just a second ago, don't be desperate. Don't sound desperate. Everybody out there, right, and they're focusing on the fact that so-and-so, we have 20 people apply and only 2 people actually show up for the interview. Well, you know what? I don't want those other 18 people anyway. If they're not going to show up, trust me, it's a blessing in disguise. So just focus on what you can control. Put your best foot forward, and that starts with great content.
Yeah. Short staff versus wrong staffed. It's what we talked about at the very beginning. It's better to have the right people and be a little bit short than to have a full roster of the wrong people. I mean, think about that. Like, just let that marinate a little bit. We'll come back to that. Wade, how about you? What kind of marketing presence are you all focusing on in terms of that prospective employee kind of acquisition side in terms of managing your presence?
It's mostly the Indeed profile. The other day we were talking about like LinkedIn and that sort of thing. LinkedIn's more for kind of like high level executive positions. But the Indeed profiles need to look very, very good. Design fixes things. You'll hear me say, a lot of different times, a good design will fix something. I think when people are looking for a job, they go on Indeed, and especially if they're shopping for a job, right? If they're shopping for a job, they go on Indeed. If they know they want to work for Barista, they go to our website. But we have a pretty good profile on Indeed. We put some effort into, you're asking how much effort we put into it, but we put some effort a while back into making sure that we have good reviews about our job on Indeed. And we had a lot of our employees go in and put in reviews and, talk very candidly about their experience with us. Some of them left us not so good reviews, and that's okay. We wanted their feedback. We wanted them to write a review, but it all worked out in the end. So I think our presence on there, especially if they're shopping, they look at a good wage. They look at some good, clean designs. They look at some videos. We have some videos in there that talks about the day in the life, what the job actually looks like. We got other articles and stuff in there that kind of spells out what the job looks like. So how much effort are we putting into it? We're putting a lot of effort into our Indeed pages. Beth, I know you said just now to do it quarterly, and I wrote a note here to do it quarterly. I don't think I'm doing it quarterly. I think I do it about twice a year, but that's great advice to go in there, look at it, make sure it says the things you want it to say. And then that way people know what to expect when they come into the job. The second half of this, it's like, we're measuring our presence online, but you also need to know, are you saying things that are correct and accurate? Are you overselling it? You don't want to oversell it. And then they come into the job and they don't get, you say it's going to be like this and they come in and it's not like that. Well, then that's going to have an opposite effect. You have this presence online that says all these amazing things, but yet the experience, the employee's journey after they get into the company, if it's different, then that'll create turnover. So what did we just put all this effort for? So I love the idea of doing it quarterly so I can make sure, because things are changing so much in this day and time. you want to make sure what you got on there is accurate. So great advice, Beth. I'm gonna do that quarterly.
We're gonna bring this back for you folks. So the whole premise of this particular episode is how you can take these marketing concepts that you are actively using in other places and in other strategies of your business. So you are using these techniques to get customers, right? To sign them up for unlimited plans, to get people to upgrade their service on site. You're doing all these things on that end of the business. What you just heard Wade talk about and what Beth's been talking about and what we've been kind of preaching on is you can take those same principles and turn that lens on prospective employees, and you're going to have fantastic results on that side of the house. So, you think about what things look like, how you're managing that presence, getting reviews. How many times do we talk about getting reviews? How many times do we talk about managing those reviews? So think about that. Apply what you're doing in your marketing sphere that's doing really well and apply that on the other side of the house. Okay, so let's get into the journey real quick. I want to talk about it. We could do a whole giant 7-series podcast or live show or anything on creating a good employee journey. And we've got some other content out there for you. But I want to talk a little bit about using the employee journey as a retention tool. So let's pretend that we've gotten our great people in the door. We have a full roster of the right people. Let's talk about the journey a little bit. And Beth, can you go ahead and start for me?
Sure. I think that more times than not, we're thinking about trying to find these outside candidates, right? Through digital advertising, texting in, radio, TV, on-site signage, whatever. But we're missing an opportunity by not engaging our current employees and our team members to help really drive that referral base. And so I highly recommend that if you don't have, a referral program put in place, to go ahead and really think that through. And also, make sure that you're nurturing your employees so that they're going to, on their own, go out and tout how great it is to work with your business, with your company. And, we do that through very, very simple things. Birthday recognition. We're sending out boxes of cookies, that the team member will receive on their birthday. We have the luxury of having area managers who can kind of check on the pulse of the team and the atmosphere, and they can go in and bring in lunch for teams that may need, an extra boost, bring in ice cream on these 90-degree days in Ohio. And then also use, just fun little incentives, right? To where we get a lot of concert tickets and sports tickets just through the different sponsorships that we do. We don't hold those for ourselves. We hold some for ourselves, right? But we send those out to team members. And I think that's just a really great way to keep employees engaged, who are in turn going to tell their friend, their next door neighbor, or whoever, you need to come check out this company. It's a really great place to work.
Yeah, there is power in referrals. We know this. We all know this. We just have to put it into practice. Referrals are king. All right, Wade, I want to hear more about inside matching the outside. I love that concept from a journey perspective. What are you all kind of doing from an employee journey perspective?
So what are we doing to make sure what we say on the outside matches the inside? That's your question, correct?
Yeah.
We're actually going, okay, great. I thought the question was different, so I wrote down a bunch of notes and I'm going to mark them out. So, okay, great.
All right, wait, new question. Just kidding.
We're actually going to map out the employee's journey through our business. As you heard me mention earlier, we brought on a new hiring and onboarding coordinator, Kelsey. And she noted, and everybody that comes in our company starts at the very bottom and then has to go through the initial training and that kind of stuff going up. And she gave us some amazing feedback. And she said, hey, I was told all these things in the group interview and I got in and this was an issue, this was an issue, and this was an issue. And even this was an issue. I mean, she spelled it out for us, all these issues, and she's bringing us feedback and she felt comfortable giving us the feedback, unlike maybe a lot of other employees. And she said, if I wasn't as connected to this business as I have been all this time, I would have possibly quit this company because of the experience right when I got in. Mm-hmm. So we're actually going to take the concept of a customer journey map, which we've talked about in plenty of other episodes, and we're going to create an employee journey map. So we know that this is what's said in the group interview. We spell it out for them that it's hard work. We do all these things. And then when they get in and the initial training goes on, that the exact same thing we said in our interviews is what they're going to experience on the inside, because that will keep employees longer. As far as, treating our employees very well and that kind of stuff, we do a lot of other things. We give them tickets, bring them ice cream. We do a lot of those types of things. When there's a good review comment about an employee, we send it out to the whole company. We call them mic drops. So we do a lot of different things that kind of help them feel better about their experience. But that's a few things we're doing.
You know what? I can't help but take away from some of this conversation is that ice cream makes everything better. I mean, come on.
Ice cream, man.
Just give them some ice cream.
Think about this for a marketing strategy. Has anybody ever, I'm going a different direction real quick, but has anybody ever hired an ice cream truck to come into a neighborhood and give all the kids ice cream at the pool, right? Parents are out there and that kind of stuff. Ice cream, people love ice cream, and they're going to remember you, especially if you gave them ice cream.
Right. On a 95-degree day. Yeah. While they're at the pool.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So I love that. I love you're speaking my language. I love journeys. I think that exercise is really important. And again, it goes back to think about the things that you do in your business that really work well and apply those kind of in other areas. So think about that. Take that marketing customer journey map that you did, apply that same principle and those same concepts to the employee side. Okay. So before we wrap up, I want to leave everybody with one thing. So let's do our one thing that I can. What do I want to ask today? I want to ask, what's one thing I can do from a marketing perspective today that'll make my employee acquisition strategy better tomorrow? So, Beth, do you want to go first?
Yes, I will go first.
All right.
I'm going to say put together a video. It can be 3 to 5 minute video of a day in the life of a car washer. Mm-hmm. Okay. And have that on your website for prospective applicants to view before they apply, so they know what they're getting into. It'll give you a great platform to kind of give them all the ins and the outs. And we talk about, right, that people show up for day one of the job. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. So that's one way you can alleviate that from the get-go, is to just give a realistic snapshot of what a day in the life of a car washer truly is.
Yeah, that's a great one. All right, Wade, you're going to bring us home, my friend. One thing you can do today from a marketing perspective that will have a big impact on your employee acquisition strategy tomorrow.
Well, we talked about referrals.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of referrals, and that's been good for us, especially getting people in here. I would say continue to, I knew you were going to ask this question. I always know you're going to ask this question. So I said map out your employee's journey, but that's kind of after they get hired. But if you map out the customer or the employee's journey after they get hired, they're going to love your business. Okay. They're going to love working for you, and they're going to only refer people that would appreciate working for you as well. So I would say continue to nurture your current employees, continue to make sure that their experience when they get into barista, the car wash, or whatever car wash company you work for, is exactly how you advertise it, and make sure those two things match, because then that will result in more referrals, which will result in better reviews on Indeed. And I did a lot of research on reviews, and more people trust a complete stranger's opinion compared to their uncle's opinion. You know what I mean? So people were looking at those reviews, and that's funny. Matt's smiling. He's like, I don't trust my uncle at all.
Yeah, no. Why would I trust him?
But a lot of people will trust those reviews, and because it spells out people's actual experience. And if that aligns with what they want to align with, then I think you're going to get more people applying for your company.
Yeah. I mean, this is a thing, guys, and it's going to continue to be a thing for a while. So I hope, my sincere hope is that you all watching today have taken a couple things, maybe just one thing, maybe the ice cream thing was your thing, but that's okay. I hope you got one thing out of this program that'll help you on this journey, and at least help you stay positive as you tackle this very tough challenge. Beth and Wade, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having
You're
us.
welcome. It's always fun.
Thank you, Matt. All right. Hey, if you guys are watching at home and you want more episodes like this, you want more inspiration, more great stories, more great ideas, you can find those at carwashmagazine.com. We're streaming every week this program, and so make sure you join us as you can. We'll get all your questions answered. Remember, I always say there are no stupid questions. There are only questions that we will not answer, so that's there for you. Hey, next week we've got a great conversation coming up for you with Stu Crum from True Blue. So one of the great organizations in the car wash industry right now who are growing like everyone else, and so we'll get a little insight into what they're doing and what their strategy looks like going forward, and what they kind of see coming down the pipe in this industry. So, hey, look, this hiring thing, it's a long game. I know it's hard. I know it's stressful. I know you're tired, but it's a long game, like everything else. So, put the work in. Go make some small changes that can be incremental for you and make some value add as you go. And hey, when we're out there, keep it clean.
I'm just having a